Welcome to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast. Here are your hosts, DJ Marcotte and John Soroyce. Enjoy the show.
Grumpy today, John. Can you tell?
Oh, just a wee bit. I think I'm a little grumpy too. I think it's been the week.
I've got a little bit of allergy action going on. It's nothing more refreshing than seeing a nice fresh sheet of pollen on your windshield.
Oh, what's even better is waking up in the morning and you've ever seen the movie Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Remember the scene he's on Mars and he's like, "Wah!"
I only remember when like his face comes off, like he's somebody else and his face comes off.
Oh, at the airport when he does the whole mask thing.
Yeah, he was like an old lady or something like that. I feel like an old lady right now, but I'm going to trudge through this pod. We got a pretty exciting one today, I think. By the way, can't talk. By the way, welcome to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast, the Everyman Podcast, the Working Class Podcast. I am DJ Marcotte.
And I am John Soroyce.
And we are the armchair experts of fantasy football. And today we're going to talk about top 12 tight end rankings. We've been pretty excited about getting into the rankings portion of the show, and it has started. Today we're going to talk about tight ends. On the next show, we're going to talk about quarterbacks, then running backs and receivers. Those will actually have two shows each because we're doing top 24 for those groups. So you ready to talk about top 12 tight ends, John?
I am ready, and I'm ready to dive in.
Hopefully we're not too far apart on some of these. I know looking at them, ECR actually had some guys ranked that we didn't even have ranked at all. So that's the armchair experts versus the I guess you would call them the real experts. So in case anybody's wondering what ECR is, it's expert consensus rankings. And it basically averages rankings for a number of analysts, sometimes upwards of 100 analysts, puts them all together, averages the rankings out to compile somewhat of an industry standard, something more consistent for fans or fantasy football players to go by. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to list off 1 through 12 for tight ends. And basically we're doing 12 because I think most leagues at this point are 12-team leagues. That's kind of an industry standard as well. So we wanted to kind of give you the whole kit and caboodle there. So we're going to start it right up with number 1, expert consensus ranked tight end is Travis Kelce. I also have him ranked at number 1. John, you have him at number 2. Just a few things real quick on Kelce, just to read the stat line for him. 103 receptions last year, 1,336 yards, 10 touchdowns. He had 150 targets with Tyreek Hill. So I don't know how you could do anything but rank him at number 1, but you got him at number 2. So what's your thought process there?
My honest opinion, I think he's going to face more double teams. Nicole Hardman, as good of a talent, he is.
Sorry, I just opened my seltzer water.
I still think he's going to get some double teams. It's going to bring some of his numbers down. There was games last year where they did shut him down. Not like completely, but he will face more of those, I think, this year.
I mean, Kelce will have those 10-point games here.
Yeah, it could be surprising. I mean, Damian Williams could open it all up for Kelce as well. But the biggest question I have is, what is that receiving core going to do for Kelce? Because if they're not opening anything up, he is going to face double teams. And I'm not saying he's not going to beat them. Well, I just think that he faces more this year. Tyreek Hill, they had to respect him as a receiver.
For me, and this is why I'll dispute you on that point, is there's a few factors in play. Number 1, I think Sammy Watkins needs to get a little bit more respect than what he's getting now. The guy was a number 1 receiver in Buffalo. Obviously not always healthy, but then they went and drafted Mecole Hardman, who is cut from the same mold in terms of the type of player that Tyreek Hill is. He's a Tyreek Hill clone, so to speak. And then the biggest factor for me is, I mean, you look at Travis Kelce, like there's no, I mean, even if you double team him, he's still a mismatch, and.
Oh, his size, his weight, his skills, his route running, they're amazing.
And that's why I think that he'll just get targeted more and he'll be equally productive. Because I think, he'll draw the double team and he will, completely steamroll those guys, and he's a yak monster, and that's why he is because he just crushes. He Hulk smashes the competition, much like Gronk used to.
Well, I mean, let's see how he does up against a Bears defense that has the cover linebackers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he'll have those
games
where he's not, sometimes he has 3-point games in PPR, you know what I mean? But I think by and large, he's going to be, I don't disagree with your number one necessarily. I think it's really close. I think there's 3 guys that are really close. But I personally think Travis Kelce's number one with a bullet. You happen to disagree, but that's why we do this. So number 2, expert consensus ranking is Zach Ertz. I actually have Ertz at 3, and you have Ertz at 1. So talk about that.
Ertz has always been the focal point in that offense. I get Dallas Goedert's there, and they're heavily involved. They got a lot going on him, and they want him part of that offense. But when it comes down to clutch plays and clutch time, they throw to Ertz, and they pound that ball in. You're talking anywhere from, I'd say a bad game from him is 3 or 4 receptions, as upward up to 10 or 11. I mean, we saw it last year. He had that monster stat line game.
Yeah, and I don't look at Goddard as a legitimate heir. I don't think he's going to take over the throne anytime soon.
Oh, either do I, but he's still involved, which scares me.
He's involved, but Ertz is, I think a big focal part of that offense. I mean, when you look at Kelce with 103 receptions, Ertz had 116. He had 1,163 yards, 8 touchdowns. I think there could be some regression. I mean, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's there. He got drafted. He's a kind of a clone of Alshon Jeffrey, who you also have there. So those guys are big targets that could take some red zone targets away. And I think Miles Sanders is going to catch a lot of passes. Let's not forget Deshaun Jackson. So they added a lot to that offense, and that really was the only thing that kept me from him being higher up my ranks.
But what's the one thing that stayed consistent?
I think when you look at Wentz has had a good chemistry, and
that's why I say that chemistry is going to be there. And
Foles and that's why I sit here and I say we're going to crunch the top 3 when they're all. I mean, if I could do a consensus number 1, I'd put all 3 of them there. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, you got to rank them one at a time. But that's my opinion on Ertz. I would love to have him on my fantasy team. He's going to be a 2nd-round pick, probably, maybe a 3rd. But my opinion is there's only 3 good tight ends, great tight ends. So yeah, I would draft those guys that early.
Way to use,
Elite, yep, definitely. But no, don't disagree. I think Ertz is. I would love to have him. I tried to trade to get him so I could have him and Kittle this year. But
I've had him before. You know how I feel about him. I think he's top dog. The biggest thing for him early in his career was health.
Yeah, and you can
now that he's healthy. I mean, look at the numbers he's producing, and even those games he played injured, like this year, spotty games, he still put up 5 receptions, 40 yards, 60 yards.
Oh yeah, I mean
he's still getting you low.
I think he's probably of the 3, probably the most consistent. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know that his upside's as high as Kittle or Kelce, but he's definitely probably a little bit more consistent than those guys. So obviously, I would say no surprise here for expert ranking. The ECR number 3 is George Kittle. So I have him ranked 2nd. You have him ranked 3rd. So we're not too far apart there. And I think that's where you're going to see Kittle as 2 or 3 in most rankings. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I was pretty close to ranking him number 1 overall. I like him that much. And we had talked about, is Kansas City going to be as potent of an offense this year? You did a great job talking about some of the things that might cause regression for Kelce this year. And I just think Kittle, and again, I talked about it before, I traded Travis Kelce for George Kittle in a 2nd-round pick. And I'm telling you, I'm winning that draft. I'm winning that trade all year long. I think he's that good. I think he's a younger version of Kelce.
He's about 4 years younger, I believe. He's 25.
He's 20. I want to say he's 24, and Kelce will be 30 during the season.
About a 4
I think
5 year difference, like I thought.
So yeah, that's more than that. It's a 6-year difference.
The reason I have him ranked behind you, and this is my opinion, obviously, I'm not the so-called consensus expert.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think there's some regression, I'm not saying he's not going to bang out 1,000 yards. I'm not saying he's not going to be a target monster. But what I see is a lot of weapons coming back into that offense. He was used very highly in that offense because of injuries. You're bringing back Breida, who's going to be involved. You're bringing back McKinnon.
Yeah, but he succeeded when Breida was out there.
No, I get that. But McKinnon, Tevin Coleman, there's more targets to go around this time. And these are all receiving backs.
But I think those guys cannibalize each other more than they do Kittle.
And it's possible. But
when you need those yards after catch, they're going to Kittle.
Kittle's biggest upside, he might lose receptions, but the one thing he will be targeted more is down the field because he exposes teams through the middle. And the other place he has the most upside is the end zone.
So if I had to...
He's a red zone threat.
If I asked you to guess what George Kittle's numbers were without looking, what would you guess that they were?
About 12, high-end 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns.
So 88 receptions, which is really good for a tight end. Not as good as Ertz and Kelsey. Don't forget he broke the record, the receiving yards record, 1,377.
I was a couple hundred off.
Oh, and here's my bigger point. Only 5 touchdowns.
Really?
That's really low.
I thought it was double digits. See, that tells you.
And that he will see positive regression in that category. At least 10 touchdowns, in my opinion. And that's why I think he's the number one tight end. I don't think that. I actually rank Kelsey ahead of him, but that's why I think he could have been ranked that high. I love Kittle. And hopefully he can carry me to a championship this year. And we'll drop Stone Cold Stunners the whole way if I have anything to say about it, which I kind of don't. But number 4, I think this is you differed a little bit here. O.J. Howard was ECR ranked number 4. I also had O.J. Howard at number 4. Maybe should we edit that out?
No, it's all good.
Just let it ride.
Let it ride.
Again, allergies. That's just congestion in my head. I can assure you that I didn't mean to say that. Or did I? Anyway, you had Henry ranked number 4 overall. Just to quickly give the stat line on O.J. Howard, it's actually not that sexy. He had 34 receptions, 565 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I also wrote 6 touchdowns. So
yeah, but remember,
apparently he's between 5 and 6
those
TDs.
Numbers are not. Here's the thing about those numbers. He did miss some time.
Yep.
So
he did.
Let's multiply that because I believe he missed 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I didn't do the 16 game pace, and I did that more with the running backs and receivers when I ranked them out. But I think the other thing is, he came out of college as like the best ranked tight end in a long time, best tight end prospect in years, and the best tight end prospect since. I mean, you look at the guys that came out this year, like TJ Hawkinson was the number 1 prospect this year, and he doesn't even hold a candle to OJ Howard. I think Deshaun Jackson leaving is going to help him because he's a bigger deep threat than people realize that he is. He's more of an Evan Ingram than he is a Travis Kelce, I guess. He does have to compete with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and that pesky Cameron Brate still lurks around, but he's a big play waiting to happen. A little nervous. Arians' offenses don't typically have very productive tight ends, but he's never had O.J. Howard either.
A weapon can be used differently, but you got to tie in your favorite running back.
Chef Barber D. Oh, it's probably not gonna. I don't think that one will stick. But yes, we had mac and cheese Barber. Yeah, no, I think that's a great point though. I don't know how much they want to rely on their running game, but like I said before, Ronald Jones is a small back that doesn't catch passes, and Peyton Barber's not that good. Like Peyton Barber, I think was top 5 in rushing attempts last year, if you can believe that.
I thought you were going to say negative points.
No, but that's the thing. Like he was top 5 in rushing attempts, and look where he finished. So that tells you what you need to know about his yards per rush and his efficiency. So I think Howard will have opportunity this year with Deshaun Jackson gone, and I don't think their running game is going to be effective. I don't think it's going to. I don't think they're going to be able to be one of those run first teams, and I don't think they want to. And Jameis, that dude's crazy, man. He's like, I'm going to throw it no matter what. And if it gets picked off, it gets picked off.
7 people running after him. He's scrambling. He's almost down. Then
he's got crab legs in one hand. He's got a football in another hand.
I mean, the kid's got talent.
He does.
If he can control his, I don't even want to say accuracy, but his sporadicness, that he gets almost like an Eli Manning
He's just
moment.
not...
He's not fine polished yet.
Right. He's not polished. That's a good way to put it. He's not polished, but he's got chemistry with Howard.
Yes, and he's young, too. So that's the thing. But this early chemistry could turn in... We saw games from Howard last year, and you're like, wow, kid's got talent. He does have raw talent. And you saw those games, 3 receptions, 80 yards, 2 TDs. So you know the chemistry's there. It's going to be there down the road. The only concern I have, but it's with any other player, is can he stay healthy? This is 2 years now, I believe, he hasn't stayed healthy.
Yeah, but you know what? We don't project for injury.
No, we don't.
We don't do that. And we project for what their ability is and in the situation that they're in and so on and so forth. If you project for injury, you would have missed out on Keenan Allen coming back from his 2 huge injuries. You know what I mean? So we don't really factor that in.
But injuries turn a lot of people down in the draft. They don't draft hesitant.
No, we definitely factor in when we're drafting, but when we're ranking, we try to shy away from that.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So, so we're moving on to number 5 here, which is, Hunter Henry was ECR number 5. I also had him at number 5, and John, you just kind of flipped those guys. You had O.J. Howard at number 5, and I get that, but why don't you talk about Hunter Henry a little bit?
Hunter Henry, my honest opinion, he's going to take over the reins. If not, has already taken over the reins. I know last year his injury cost him 99% of the year, early injury in the preseason training camp. Came back near the end of the playoffs, not heavily involved. They tried to. A little too late, but... The kid has a lot of upside talent.
He's a great tight end.
Great tight end. His skill set, Phillip Rivers loves him.
Yeah.
And Antonio Gates is now on the 40 with a wheelchair.
Is he still playing?
He's still playing another year.
He looked like the Big Show out there, too.
He's moving like the Big Show.
Packed it on, yeah.
I don't know what it is with tight ends. I don't know if he's got Gronk syndrome where taking too many shots now.
Actually, he looked like Shaq. Him and Shaq must go to the same nutritionist. Ronald McDonald Nutrition.
The biggest thing with Henry is, with Gates there, Gates is more from what I've been read and being seeing and all about online stuff, is that he's trying to be more of a teacher role, a mentor for Henry. So,
and there's still free catering, so he's probably hanging around for that too.
They were decimated last year, and he was a natural.
That was a good free catering joke, and you just blew right by that, man.
Sorry.
Come on.
But I think Henry has the upside.
Maybe it wasn't that good.
I'm hoping that he, like we said, we don't speculate health, but full 16 season, I think he's going to be heavily involved. Keenan Allen's the number 1 focal point. Melvin Gordon or Melvin Gordon is either one, 1A, 1B, vice versa. But they're going to get him involved, and that means the red zone. It means the red zone. He's an immediate red zone target, I think, and he just got a natural ability to catch the ball. He doesn't drop many passes either.
Yeah, so my problem with Henry, and I guess Howard has this stigma as well, but I think Henry is living off the hype and has for a couple of years. His last couple of years, he averaged 40 receptions, 530 yards, 6 TDs, which is pretty good. I don't have this game count, as to how many games he played in those seasons, but that's the problem. And again, like you said, we don't project injury, but if I'm drafting and, I have Evan Ingram there and I have Hunter Henry, I might veer in the Ingram direction depending on what my roster construction looks like, just because Henry just cannot stay healthy. But with that being said, I go back to Keenan Allen every time as the example. Is that guy he was the same guy. He was never out there. And it was almost like you were just waiting for it to happen. You were just waiting for Keenan Allen to have a career, maybe a career ending. Maybe.
Don't curse the guy.
Yeah, sorry. But season-ending injury, you're just waiting for it to happen. And the anxiety, and you guys all know, the anxiety of having a player like that can be mentally crippling. But I took a chance on Keenan Allen after he had that second major injury, and it led me to a championship.
The biggest thing about Keenan Allen last year, he started off slow, and then he exploded. I see a Hunter Henry, my opinion.
So is Hunter Henry the second coming of that?
I think Hunter Henry is going to be more involved than Keenan Allen was at the beginning, because I think teams now are going to be like, oh, hey, we have to respect Keenan Allen. Look what he did last year.
Yeah.
He is the number one there. Then they're going to have to respect Gordon. Someone is not going to cover Henry. He's going to expose him.
Don't forget Mike Williams.
Oh, no, Mike Williams is huge, too. But
yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that I see Hunter Henry, honestly, is he going to get you 90, 100 receptions? No. 70 to 80 range, I think. Maybe a little less. Could be high 60s. But I see 8 to 10 red zone touchdowns easily. Yeah. Easily.
And I think Williams, that's the one thing with Mike Williams is he could vulture some of those away. But when you look at, once you get past those top three guys, and I think you would agree with this, you're looking at upside. That's what you're looking at. And Hunter Henry has, I would say, limitless upside. And I think there's a lot of things going for him this year. Hopefully he can recover from that ACL. I know you talk about Deshaun Watson a lot. Is it going to take him time to get comfortable out there? But the sky's the limit. He
got pretty comfy. I mean, he went from preseason, blown his knee out. It wasn't even preseason. It was OTAs.
Because I remember the hype train was huge for him last season.
Look at his numbers, and those numbers weren't even a full scale of games.
Yeah.
So I say, even if, let's say, I think that was over a 6 or 7 game span, and that was with Gates involved. Yeah. Gates is on the lower end.
Well, that's the other thing. You're right. Yeah, Gates
is on the lower end.
Definitely.
I honestly see it, but you got to worry about people like Elker. Are they going to be involved in the passing game more? But I still see
Eckler.
Yeah. I don't like him.
John does butcher names sometimes, just so you guys know.
I'm horrible with the names.
He knows these players in and out, I can assure you. I can back him up on that.
Yeah, but pronunciation, I'm horrible.
But sometimes he just takes a rusty chainsaw to their names, and it's okay. That's okay. We're not polished, are we? We're the Jameis Winstons of fantasy football podcasts.
I'm not polished yet.
Well, or you are, I guess. I'm pretty polished.
But the thing with Hunter Henry is I'm butchering his name.
Exhibit B, ladies and gentlemen.
The thing with Henry, though, I think if you even take his small sample size and double it, you're looking at 1,000 yards.
No doubt.
You're looking at 12 touchdowns.
And you're getting him how many rounds later than you're getting a Kelsey, a Kittle, or even an O.J. Howard?
Yeah, he's like the poor man version of Kelsey, I would say.
Yeah, you're keeping him this year.
I believe in him.
He's your fourth keeper.
I really think that he's going to have a big year. He's one of my sleeper picks this year that I think some people would be like, oh, he got hurt, I don't trust him. I honestly think, or I could. It's happened.
Will they say it like that? I hope they do.
Wait and see. I mean, I could be totally wrong. That's the point of taking a gamble, and he's my gamble this year. And
they're all risky after the top
they're all
three.
Risky, but you got to have that what if feeling. I know it sounds crazy. I kept Henry over Geis.
Yeah, but again, Geis has a lot of question marks too.
Yeah. I mean, you also got Bryce Love there. Did I say his right name?
Who's also got a torn ACL, I think. Anyway, we might talk about that in another episode.
The all ACL.
The all ACL team? That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
That would be limitless.
That would be limitless, yeah, I guess. So number 6, expert consensus ranking is Evan Ingram. I have Evan Ingram also ranked at number 6, and John also. We get the hat trick here.
Hey,
he's also got him
finally
ranked
come in agreement
6.
with something.
Yeah, so and some of these were tough choices for me, and I'll just spout off on Mr. Ingram for a second here. Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry, and O.J. Howard. I had, just like the top 3, I had those guys clustered together too, and not a lot separated those 3. I mean, you look at Ingram's stat line from last year, it doesn't blow you away. 45 receptions, 577 yards, 3 touchdowns. Was hurt, too.
Injury.
Yep. But you got to look at, there's 124 vacated targets from Odell. And that could have been more because Odell was hurt, too, because he's always hurt. We'll get into that in the wide receiver rankings. But when you look at the offense, and we kind of talked about this, you've got Saquon Barkley, an excellent running back, but not a deep threat. You've got Golden Tate, a slot receiver, not a deep threat. You got Sterling Shepard, who's basically just a younger version of Golden Tate, not a deep threat. Evan Ingram's the only deep threat on that team. And he was targeted 115 times in his rookie season with Beckham gone. So you could see a similar number there. And he caught 6 touchdowns that year as well.
In his rookie year.
Phenomenal. With no Beckham. So if you look at it, the opportunity with Beckham gone, in my opinion, my humble or not so humble opinion, would be Evan Ingram benefits greatly and probably the most. And I even think they're going to throw to Barkley less because he had 90-something receptions, 91 receptions, I think.
You count the number of times he rushed the ball plus the receptions over 400 times. So, he got touches, counting receptions.
Yeah, so I don't think Shermer's going to want to kill him. They want him around for a while, but they could. They're not an intelligent team. But I just look at Evan Ingram as I've got him ranked number 6, right along with you, right along with ECR. But I could see him creep into the top 5. 4. I could see him creep into the top 3 under the right situation.
His only downfall, I would rank him higher, is that it is the New York Giants quarterback system. I know that the tight end is the quarterback's blanket on any team.
And we don't know what we're getting from Jones.
And I get
and we don't even know that he's going to see the field. We assume that he will.
Yeah, and Eli, his throws
But Eli's shown some chemistry with him.
He's shown some chemistry, but it has also cost the tight ends and also other people's on the team how bad his throws are.
Yeah.
So it hurts him a little bit there. I'm not saying Eli could blow up this year. He really could.
And that one drawback from Ingram in his rookie year was that there was a lot of passes he didn't catch that were thrown his way.
Exactly. So it benefits both ways. But his upside is definitely there. I agree with that.
His upside is, but it's capped because, and I've talked about this before, he's a move tight end. So he's not a good blocker. He's going to be out there on all of the throwing downs.
He actually lines up in the slot quite a bit, and
he does. But when you're on the goal line, what
block.
do you need at tight end? He won't, because he might not even be out there because he can't block. So they're going to take some schmuck tight end, as whoever his backup is that can block, put him out there, and if they run play action, that's an opportunity missed on his part.
Don't forget, Shermer's also sneaky. Could run him as an H-back out in the flat.
He could.
He's got the speed to.
Yep, he could.
That's the definite upside of him.
With those move tight ends, though, the problem with those guys is they are not going to be out there. Their snap count is limited because of their inability to block.
Yeah, you'll see Red out there instead of him.
Yep, exactly. So that's literally my only concern with him. And like you said, Eli Manning is just not good anymore. And all indications are that Daniel Jones probably won't be either. But I'm still gonna wait and see on him. And,
we could both be totally wrong on him.
I just don't know what to think about him. I know he doesn't look like he would be an NFL quarterback, but they said that about Tom Brady too. I'm not calling him Tom Brady, just to be very clear, but you just don't know until you see it.
They've said the same thing about Russell Wilson. They said Drew Brees wouldn't be good because he was too small.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy that's the thing. We can sit there and look at their height, their weight, their build, their throws. Some people get better with age. Some people just don't get better.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady has shown that, he's regressing. He's getting older, but you know what? He's still a fine vintage wine.
They're adapting the offense to his strengths.
Yeah. And the
his
thing is,
weaknesses. Yeah.
The quarterback game has evolved. Look at Russell Wilson in the past 4 years. Each year, his rushing yards have gone down, but his accuracy's actually gotten better.
I can't wait to talk about Russell Wilson in the quarterback rankings.
I think Russell Wilson's fantastic.
I got a lot to say about that guy. Because he's pretty polarizing, but we'll get to that in that next episode.
What, you mean the 40-point half and 0 from the first half?
Yeah. Yeah, good old heart attack Russell. So before we continue to plow through the top 12 here, I just kind of wanted to take a break in the action, and you're going to have to pronounce this guy's name for me. Can you tell me that guy's name, his last name? Is it Ralston?
Yep.
Oh, it is Ralston, okay. Sorry. Not polished. I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to some people that have given us a shout out. I couldn't tell you how big our audience is right now. Obviously, it's in the nucleus stage. It's in the embryonic stage, but we really appreciate those of you that are listening, and more importantly, those of you that are interacting, because that really helps us know, what's going on out there, what you guys think about what we're doing, and if there is anybody out there listening. We might be talking to ourselves sometimes. I hope that's not the case, but hopefully we're bringing enough to the table where you guys are happy with it. So I just wanted to kind of run through some comments here, or ideas that we have had sent to us, And John Michael Ralston, who you might know, he suggested that we should have a fan league. I agree with that.
I love the idea.
Guys, I gave you the email, armchairfb@gmail.com. Let's get a fan, or I don't know, say a fan league. I guess you guys are fans of ours. I hope you are. Let's get a listener league going. John and I will get in on that. You can compete against us. I think Mr. Ralston has a great idea there. We need people to reach out, right?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would love for one of you guys to take us down.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, compete.
Yep.
This is what fantasy is about.
Interact.
We love seeing other. I don't even care if you're new. You've been around for 30 years. You've been playing. Come and enjoy. Let's have fun with this league.
Yeah. Maybe if you win the league, we'll give you a free T-shirt. You know, we can have you call in on the show. You know, we'll do something cool with it. But, you know, we need to hear from you guys. So email us, armchairfb@gmail.com. Tell us why you should be in the listener league, why you deserve to be in there. We'll get that thing fired up, man. Right?
I agree.
Cool.
We know me and you are in no matter what.
Am I?
We're in.
Okay.
I'm in. You're in.
All right. I might send you trade offers immediately.
Denied.
So just keep blazing through here. Justin King says, good show, down to earth, lots of fun to listen to. Appreciate you, Justin. Hopefully we can continue that and you'll continue to enjoy listening to us. Teddy Gonzalez, if that is his real name. We know Teddy, and I don't know where the Gonzalez comes from, but
Are
maybe
you rated to Tony Gonzalez?
yeah, maybe he'll fill us in on that at some point. I'm sure there's something behind that. But Teddy had a great response. Said, it's a great fantasy football podcast that is run by two guys that just love fantasy football. They break things down logically and have fun with it. Everyone can enjoy it, and I think that's what we're trying to do, right? We're for everyone. The Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast is for everyone.
It's the working class podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I love talking football. I can do it 24/7.
Yeah, man.
I do require sleep, so I
Yeah.
don't do it 24/7.
Yeah,
but
we might miss a few winks
I take
tonight.
an enjoyment in this, and you know that's the one thing I love hearing other people's takes. Like we said last show, opinions. I mean, look at our rankings right now. We're not even. There's some we're very close on, some we agree. When we start breaking down more in the other positions, you're gonna see my thinking, and you're gonna see DJ's thinking.
He'll probably butcher some more names.
Oh yeah, I mean, do you guys remember?
Who the heck is Ish Smith? It's Ito.
See what I mean?
Where do you get the Ish from?
But remember Tim Biaka Batuka?
Oh yeah, well, wow, nice.
I said that
nicely
one right,
done.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
For some reason, I am horrible about pronouncing names. I know who the players are, but
luckily he can pronounce mine. It's 2 letters, so.
Marcotti?
No, that's
I'm kidding.
Jeepers. Anyway, I appreciate the nice words there, Teddy, and we are for everyone, whether you're a man, a woman, regardless of your gender identity, regardless of your sexual orientation, your religion, your race. We don't care. What we care about is that you guys are football fans and that you're into fantasy football and you like what we're throwing at you. That's what we care about. We're for everyone. So just to keep going through the list, Kim Fogarty says it's a fantastic podcast for fantasy football. Thank you, Kim. My Uncle Tom wants you to get closer to the mic.
This is as close as I've got. I'm eating this thing, and I'm like trying to talk as loud as normal, and I normally do. We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he is close. Like it's always like
wait till the video.
Drool is like dripping off the windscreen at the end of every show.
I'm gonna be like that Velociraptor that's spitting on that guy in the Jeep.
Yeah, that's great, man. Nothing beats a Jurassic Park reference, other than a Marcus Mariota reference when somebody doesn't get him and they cry. That's our one per show right there. And Norwal Music said on YouTube, actually, killed this fam. Stay on the grind. I think I know what that means, and I know that I appreciate it. I'm not down with all the millennial lingo, but thank you there. And then I think the coolest one, man, was Austin West says, great show. Listen to the first 2 episodes, and he sent this right after the first 2 episodes, and they were great. You got a fan all the way here in Germany. Keep doing what y'all are doing and hoping for the best for you guys. And Austin, just want to say thank you for your service, obviously, because that makes what we do very insignificant.
Thank you.
That's really
much
cool.
appreciated.
Yeah, we got to
As
represent.
I'm yelling into the microphone.
Thank you. But Germany, dude. So I guess that makes us the David Hasselhoff of fantasy football.
Yeah.
We're huge in Germany, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
if we missed any comments, feel free to heckle me on Facebook or Twitter. My Twitter follower count has gone up exponentially. I think I last noted it was at 88. Now it's like 150. We've got well over 350, almost 400 likes on our Facebook page. Check that out on Facebook. That's at Armchair Fantasy Football. Oh, there goes the train.
Coming through the house.
Oh, the hype train? No, just a regular train. Also, John's on Twitter. Do you remember? You still remember it?
John2977.
Congratulations. How many followers do you have?
300 or 400, I think.
300 or 400. So we gotta get that count up there, guys. So look us up on that.
We got the
I'm obviously, as you guys know, I'm at Armchair Kingpin.
We both do have the logos posted on our Twitter pages, so not hard to recognize anymore. So give us a like, give us a follow.
You can even friend me. I'm Donald Marco. Just look up Donald Marco on Facebook.
Or
I'm the handsome guy standing there with Matt Riddle, the even more handsome guy. So you can look me up there too. I'll be happy to accept your friend request. So anyway, just wanted to shout out to you guys. We really appreciate the feedback, and we want just really keep it coming. Really keep hitting those likes, those subscribes, those bells, those whistles, everything they got out there to get us more exposure. The train, yeah.
I had to throw that out there.
The hype train.
The hype train.
Yeah, we'll keep doing what we do here. You know, I keep saying it, but we need to look into a Patreon page, and you guys hopefully would be interested in helping us out there. We don't, you know, we bought the set, we bought all the equipment, and that's great, and we love it. And we, you know, this is so fun. Like John and I were just talking before the show about we can't wait to record every single time. Like it's like Christmas every single time.
I wish I could record every day. It's like, so this week, it's pretty bad when you're sitting at work and you know you got to get your work stuff done, so you get that done, but then you're sitting in the back of your head and you're like, it's next time for the podcast.
Yeah. So
you're waiting for it. It's like, this actually just made half my problems go away today because I knew I was doing a podcast.
So actually,
excited.
This one starts 2 a week. So you guys will hear this. We'll probably have this posted late Sunday, and we're looking to post Mondays and Fridays, maybe Mondays and Thursdays, but probably Mondays and Fridays. You'll find out by the second podcast this week what the routine's going to be. So that way there you guys know when to expect us. I know we typically post on Saturdays, but sometimes it's Sunday on YouTube. So we need to get better at being a little bit more regimented with that. Everybody's nice enough to where they haven't given us that feedback, but I think we know that's something that we need to work on. But anyway, I don't want to be a panhandler, but we do want to do this for a living. And we want to entertain you guys and help you guys win championships too. So you ready to keep rolling on the list, John?
Let's go.
All right. So number 7 is, oh geez,
drum action.
That's a little much for me. I got allergies, man. So anyway, it's Eric Ebron, ECR ranked number 7. I also have Mr. Ebron ranked 7. You have Delaney Walker all the way up there at 7.
Yep.
So,
and
we'll talk about Delaney later. So I don't need you to explain yourself right now. But let's talk about Eric Ebron instead. 66 receptions, 750 yards, 13 touchdown last year. I'm not comfortable with this ranking, to be honest with you, because we'll have a sleepers and busts episode down the line, and I'm fairly certain. I'll give you a little spoiler alert. Eric Ebron will probably be on my bust list.
Can we just have a regress list? Because he's on it.
Well, that's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but I think he's going to regress.
He will regress.
I'm not saying this offense hasn't fit him well.
Yeah.
But you have other people involved.
But he'll regress.
Yeah.
But we're also looking at tight end. So that's, you know what I mean? And as the further you go down the list, the more shallow the talent pool gets. But, I mean, last year he was great. They finally utilized him the way the dummies in Detroit should have utilized him all those years. I mean, he's a great red zone and big play threat. I think Funchess is going to hurt him because Funchess is a big-bodied guy that
who's a red zone
is going to be a red zone target. I think Paris Campbell's going to take targets from everybody. Your boy Jack Doyle, or Doyle Rules, as you say.
Doyle Rules.
He'll be back, although probably hurt by week 2. But he does have chemistry with Luck. It's a high-powered offense. He was targeted 110 times just in his first year with the team. And that's his fun fact here. That's his career high by 24 targets. So they like him there, but I think there's a lot of factors in play. 13 touchdowns. Hard to believe that's going to happen again this year. What do you think?
No, I think he'll see some red zone threats, but not double digits. I think I see an 8, possibly 9. He won't eclipse 10. I don't see it.
No, and hopefully he does. But at the same time, when you're drafting your tight end and those top 3 are, because there's a big gap between 6 and 7, I think. When those guys are gone, I think...
Yeah, but also taking into consideration, I believe it was first 2 or 3 games, he had like 3 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Marlon Mack wasn't in the offense then.
No, he wasn't. No. So, you can throw him in the mix, Naheem Hines, there's a lot going on that offense, and there's a one ball. But...
I still think the biggest ball is... how's that song go? Return of the Mac.
Oh, jeez. I thought you were going with... Big Balls by AC/DC.
No, Return of the Mac, sorry.
Yeah, it is he returned a while ago, but he's definitely going to be a factor, and Andrew Luck's pretty good, man. He was really great last year. I think he was number 3 quarterback last year.
I'm sorry. I mean, I hate to interrupt here, but every time I see Andrew
You interrupt
Luck,
me all the time. What's the difference?
It's perfect. Every time I see Andrew Luck, I just think of the Geico commercial. It's
Why?
so easy that Andrew Luck can do it because he looks like a caveman.
Oh,
beard.
He's not an attractive guy.
Have you ever seen his Twitter page? He's got the whole General Andrew Luck thing going. You got to take a look sometime.
Yeah.
I'm not making that up.
Will he follow me?
He may.
I doubt it.
You'd be surprised who some of these celebrities accept follows.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll give it a shot. I'm
gonna see if I can find it while you're
talking. Jeez. All right. So I gotta get my win going here then. So do you have any other thoughts on Ebron, or are you just going to play with your phone?
Well, Ebron, I think there's regression coming. I think the mix of weapons there's going to be there. Mac back, Hines getting involved more.
The return of the Mac, yeah.
I love the return of the Mac.
Dude, what do they got going on there? It's like a grocery store. You got Campbell, you got Campbell's soup, you got Heinz ketchup.
You got O'Doyle.
It's Doyle, not O'Doyle,
I know,
but I get what you're saying. I get the reference.
From Billy Madison.
Yes,
sorry.
I understand.
Yeah,
the redheaded kid.
If he stays healthy. But honestly, I see regression. I mean, he's a good tight end. This is why he was drafted.
Oh, he's uber talented.
But like you said, Detroit never utilized him right. I don't know if they've ever utilized a tight end right.
So maybe he does more. I don't. Maybe he gets 1,000 yards. Maybe he gets 80 catches. I could be wrong.
Last year, we don't even know if he just scratched the surface on his career. He could blow up again, for all we know. I mean, T.Y. Hilton,
we didn't even mention T.Y.
Yeah, I mean, T.Y. could blow up. I mean, we don't know. Yeah. They got the talent there. It's a matter of who's going to explode. But usually, your wide receiver one's the sole beneficiary. But teams may double team T.Y., Paris, Devin Funchess, may not. Who knows what happens?
Right.
But Ebron shows that what he potentially can do. He does have a lot of upside. The biggest factor that brings his upside down is the other weapons. And I think those weapons are going to be involved. You don't draft a Paris Campbell for him to watch from the sideline.
No, he's going to be a factor for sure.
Exactly.
We actually had a guy we did have one complaint. Maybe I'll bring that. I forgot to note that complaint. But the guy said that he pretty much refuses to subscribe on YouTube until he can see our pretty faces. So obviously, just to throw it back, didn't I tell you not to do this? John distracted me last time with his phone. He's doing it again. He's trying to sabotage the show.
This guy's got more followers than me and DJ combined.
Well, yeah, dude. We don't have that many.
Captain Andrew Luck.
Yeah, he's a captain. All right.
A hair under 500,000 followers.
Yeah, that's significantly more.
You think?
But anyway, this guy complained, and I'll give him a shout out too once I can figure out his name, maybe on the next show. But he wants to see our face. So I don't know if he's stalking us. But I get it. YouTube, it is video. We probably need more than our logo. So like we said, at latest August 18th, just to throw that out there again, in case you guys didn't catch it on the last show, you will see us. You will see a lot of our friends as well.
Live from the draft.
Yeah. So number 8, ECR number 8. sorry, I'm a little behind here, is Jared Cook. I actually have Jordan Reed ranked at 8. I do not have Jared Cook ranked at all, and I will explain myself. And you do not have Jared Cook ranked at all either. So I don't know, dude.
I think.
So here's my. Go ahead.
I think my opinion, Jared Cook. I think the wheel's gonna fall off this year. It started to last year, and I think it really falls off this year. The big thing that has helped him out, I think, is some of the offenses he's been in, because people know he is talented, but the guy's getting older, and you can tell it's.
Well, and like I actually thought he overachieved last year. To be honest with you, I had him.
He did a lot better than I thought.
I had him as a back. Actually, went and I traded for him because I had Kelsey, and Kelsey's bye week. Jared Cook was going against some trash offense, and it actually worked out for me. That's a good strategy, by the way, guys. So I traded for him just for that week, and he actually was pretty good overall.
He felt actually really great. I think he got, 17 from him?
I can't remember the exact number, but he was, Jared Cook was, if you look at the landscape last year, he was on the higher end. I think he finished top 6, might have even been top 5. My problem is there is this false narrative out there that tight ends flourish in New Orleans, and that Jimmy Graham flourished in New Orleans, and barring some a lot of injuries, Jimmy Graham might have been a Hall of Famer. I don't know that he is, but that's how good he was. Jared Cook's not that good, number one. And number two, outside of Jimmy Graham, tight ends haven't flourished. I remember Kobe Fleener. You remember him?
Oh, he got hyped.
I love that guy out of college because he was Andrew Luck's tight end. He got drafted by Indy, so I'm like, this guy's going to be great. And, he was trash there. He was trash in New Orleans. So it's like, there's this false narrative that a tight end in New Orleans is going to do well, and I just don't think it's the case. As a matter of fact, I would challenge people and say that that's actually the opposite. Ben Watson was okay, I think. I mean, but really nobody was fantasy relevant outside of Jimmy Graham. So there's that piece. There's Cook is older. I think he's above 30 years old, which is pretty old for a tight end. And I think, Michael Thomas caught over 120 balls last year, right? They're going to continue to target him heavily. They're going to continue to target Alvin Kamara heavily. I think Jared Cook might have a good touchdown upside, but I don't have him ranked in the top 12. I just don't see it.
I honestly think I don't see him in the top 12
and
either.
He's 8 on ECR.
But look at what the Saints did.
It's a great offense, though.
Yeah, but look at the Saints last year. They utilized Austin Carr. You're like,
yeah.
Where did Austin Carr come from? He catches 3 touchdowns, for example.
But that's what they do,
yeah,
though.
But here's what they do.
And who's your boy there? The other receiver that you love there.
Traquan Smith.
Traquan Smith could break out, too. So I don't know.
The one nobody ever talks about, and you don't know whenever to play him because he's a glitch guy. You know what I'm talking about? Taysom Hill.
Yeah, no, he's that former quarterback. Yeah,
he still is a quarterback.
Oh, is he? Yeah, that's right. He's
actually his roster.
Is he though? I guess, but yeah,
here's
I get
where
your
it gets
point.
Tricky. On the roster, he's considered a quarterback.
Yeah,
he can play H-back, he can play tight end, he can play receiver.
Yeah,
he can actually throw too. They ran a lot of trick plays last year, options with him. He lines up everywhere, and that's what I think. That doesn't help Cook at all or anybody on the offense either.
Yeah, and again, this late. I look at upside in the rankings, this late in the rankings, and for tight end, this is late in the rankings because it's so top heavy.
You're going to need a starter, especially we're still in the top 12. You're going to need a starter. I'm not saying he's a starter.
My problem is how many times is Jared Cook going to give you 10 plus?
Not many.
Not many. Honestly, on that offense,
the Saints offense, no way.
Yeah.
You got Kamara, you got Smith, you got
those
Thomas.
guys are locked in, man. Latavius Murray's going to have a big role, like those guys. So anyway, I get it. But
you know why he's ranked so high by the experts?
Why is that?
Because of one man only.
Because Breeze.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why.
I don't disagree with you at all there. Yeah, and that's the same reason that some people have Austin Seferian-Jenkins ranked because of his quarterback.
Whoops.
But we'll get to that. So this is where it starts to go south. So number 9 is David Njoku. I do not have David Njoku ranked, and John does not have David Njoku ranked.
No, the guy drops too many balls.
Well, that plus there's this guy and his name's Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, who else?
And this guy named Jarvis Landry, target monster.
And they got more.
Yeah.
They're loaded.
Who else? Who else? We got Nick Chubb's going to catch some passes. Duke Johnson's going to catch some passes. Antonio Callaway is a talented guy. It's just too much there. And I love that the Browns are doing well, and there's a lot of buzz around them. And I love Baker Mayfield. I love his swag. You know, I love guys that have that type of Vince McMahon swagger.
I think he has, like, his ability-wise, if you watch him, his vertical leap, his speed is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing
he's almost an O.J. Howard level
he's
talent.
He's going to get lost in the offense because of all of the
That's the problem.
And he's only going to get you if he honestly... Look at how many games last year. 2 catches, 30 yards.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Dead.
You want that?
Quarter. No. His upside, or you would wait all game. Oh, there's his red zone target. He drops it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Done. They didn't even give him another chance.
So back to my earlier point with the Browns, like I think they'll do well. I hope they'll do well. But there's no guarantee there. I mean, I can guarantee you the Patriots will be in the playoffs. I can pretty darn near guarantee you that Jason Garrett will lose the Cowboys several games because he's an idiot. Those are guaranteed, locked-in things. I can't guarantee that the Browns are going to be a high-powered offense, but I think they will. I also think they will on the backs of Nick Chubb, on the backs of Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, those guys primarily. Let's not forget Kareem Hunt's rolling in there too, week 7, week 8, whenever that is. So I just don't see when I draft guys, I look at opportunity, upside, rinse and repeat, and I don't see it with David Njoku. I see the upside. I don't see any opportunity, very little opportunity for Njoku. So just to put a bow on him. Number 10, expert consensus rank, is Delaney Walker. John, you've got him ranked at 7.
Yes.
And I don't have him ranked at all.
I sound crazy for ranking him at 7th, but just count the first couple games last year and the year before.
Yeah.
The one thing Mariota actually did do right.
you just basically told me, you just said why I didn't rank him, but continue.
Yeah. But the reason why I think I'm high on Delaney Walker, look at the difference in our offense as soon as he left. He is their focal point. I hate to say it. When he was there, he was a target beast.
Yeah.
Pure target beast. I know he's getting older.
That was 2 years ago.
No, he played a couple games last year.
But, I mean, let's be honest.
Look at his targets those first 2 games. I get he's gotten older. I get he's had injury. He's not dead yet, though.
He's not. And I don't project injury, but I do project age. And I do project Corey Davis and A.J. Brown. I project those guys. And I project the fact that Mariota is trash. Tennessee, shame on you. That guy should not be your quarterback this year. You guys should have...
Well, they don't have much of a choice.
I don't agree with that because look at Arizona. They traded draft capital to get Josh Rosen, and they're like, he's not the guy. This dude is not the guy. So what did they do? They had number 1 overall pick, and they took another quarterback, and they, traded Rosen for much less than what they got him for initially. But Tennessee is the opposite, where they're like, we know Mariota's trash. We know he can't stay healthy, and we know he's not mentally tough. He's got some talent, but not an offensive amount of talent. I would not, and you know me, I like Corey Davis a lot. I love A.J. Brown. I'm not touching any of those guys. I'm not ranking any of those guys in my top 12 under any circumstances.
They have upside, but the thing with Delaney Walker he has had going for him while Mariota's been there.
He's the binky. Yeah.
He's the binky for Mariota. He really is. He'll see you, I think, a minimum of 5 to 6 catches a game.
I'm telling you right now, Mariota, and that's great that he is, he won't be their quarterback past week 6. That's my opinion. I think they're finally going to realize what they don't have with him. And I think Blaine Gabbert's their backup. So they're going to have number 1 overall pick next year, and they're going to take a quarterback if they got any brains.
Their defense will save them, I think.
And their defense is an upside. And Derrick Henry, they're probably going to try to run the ball a lot too with him, at least initially. But
they didn't last year. It cost me.
But I'm here to explain myself why I didn't rank him at all, and that's why I didn't rank him at all. But I get your point of view as well.
Mine's the pure targets is what it is.
Yep.
It's not even the touchdowns. I don't see him going nuts on touchdowns. It's the pure target monster for Mariota.
Yeah, and I get that. So number 11 is, I just don't get this, inexplicably Austin Hooper. I don't understand that at all. That's the ECR rank. I don't have him ranked. You don't have him ranked.
You know who I have ranked here.
But what? Like, I don't get it with Hooper, man. Like, I just don't get it. He'll have 20 to 30 point games, and it'll be 3 of them.
Here's my thinking with the rankings with Hooper, and this is what I'm thinking from the experts, and I'm just trying to think on their level. It's Atlanta. They're a high-powered offense. They throw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
They do. And he'll get his.
He'll get his, but
3 times a year.
Yeah, maybe 5 tops.
Yeah,
Tops. But maybe they're thinking with Sanu getting older. But even then, I still think Ridley's going to take over that role. He'll be the number 2.
Yeah.
Sanu will go into like a more 3 kind of or possession receiver.
Yeah, you like Ridley a lot.
Yeah.
I know that. And Sanu's a good old standby.
Julio. I think Hooper, you're just going to see when the other 2 out of 3 get shut down, they're going to have to throw to somebody. But I still think it's going to be somebody else other than him. I mean, they have so much talent on that team. We forget Freeman's coming back. That opens up a whole avenue. To me, I think with Freeman coming back, it's actually going to hurt Hooper more. But I don't know what my only thinking of it is they ranked them that high based on it's Atlanta's pass offense. That's why.
Yeah. No way. I'm not touching that guy. I wouldn't even draft him. If I waited till the last round and my last option was tight end, there were still going to be plenty of guys I would draft over him.
I'd stream the waiver wire.
Sorry, Austin Hooper. I don't mean to be so mean. I apologize. But you suck. So anyway, moving on. I hope I never meet you in real life because you will destroy me.
You'll be the next fan.
Yeah. No, you'll be the best tight end in the league if that happens. So last but certainly not least, and then we'll talk about some of the guys. Obviously, we've talked about guys that we haven't had ranked. That means we do have guys ranked that ECR does not. But ECR's 12 overall is Vance McDonald. I have him ranked at number 10. And I don't. Do you have him ranked at all, John? No, you don't have. You don't have McDonald ranked. So, 50 receptions, 610 yards, 4 touchdowns last year. The biggest thing for me, there's two things.
I think I know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
Number 1, Jesse James is gone.
Yep.
So that little nuisance that keeps tugging at Vance McDonald's pant leg is gone. Number 2, 169 vacated targets from Antonio Brown, and they're not all going to Juju as much as I would like for that to happen.
No, I can see a third of it going to Juju, my honest opinion.
Right.
The other part of it, I think, who will see an uptick is James Conner.
Yeah, in how are they going to use, and the other thing is, too, and something that I had considered is Jalen Samuel. It was a tight end in college. He's a converted tight end. So, I mean, they could throw him in the mix there, but I go back to the years when Roethlisberger had helped me out here. I'm drawing a complete blank on the tight end that he had for years that was really good for him. 2 guys that talk about football. Heath Miller. Sorry, I was going to say 2 guys that talk about football all the time. Vance McDonald's actually more talented than Heath Miller is.
And Heath Miller was a beast.
And he was a beast. So what did Heath Miller catch? A lot of touchdowns. So I think his touchdown upside is there. I think you'll see much more than 4 this year. I like Vance McDonald. I don't love him, but
let's not forget the stiff arm.
Yeah, the stiff arm.
That was a nasty stiff arm. Yeah. Against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he might have hit another team. It was so hard. But
honestly, after I saw that.
So why don't you have him ranked in the top 12?
I guess the thing is, I think I should have ranked him higher than what I should have. I think the only thing is, I don't know how the team's going to adjust with Antonio leaving. I know there's targets to be made up, but my bad for not ranking him higher, I guess. But at the same time, will he take on the number 1 role? He's never been the true number 1.
Yeah.
He's always shared the role. So the question is, can he hang on to that number 1 role?
Wow, you had Eric Ebron ranked 9th.
Yeah.
Dang.
I told you, I believe that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But you got some more explaining to do, too. I think there's some homerism going on with your number 11 overall. But so that basically ties up the expert consensus rank. And I'm just going to kind of touch on some of the guys that I have that weren't ranked at all. It actually kind of surprised me. So I actually had Jordan Reed ranked at number 8. Did you have him ranked, John? I don't see him on your list.
I've given Jordan Reed.
I know, I get it.
I have given Jordan Reed so much, but you know what?
This is the last hurrah for him.
I don't preach injury.
No.
I do not preach injury with
but
him.
he's tough.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with him because why? That man looks the wrong way and he just broke a nail and he's out of the game.
So he had 54 receptions last year, 558 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not great. Obviously an abbreviated season, but I think one of the problems is he suffered from inconsistent quarterback play and obviously injuries. I think he could be. I look at Haskins as more compatible with him, and I think Haskins will start week 1, to be honest with you. But I think he could be, like you said, a security blanket for Haskins.
I hope you're right. I really do.
His ceiling is 87 receptions, 952 yards, and 11 touchdowns. That was his best season.
You know why he goes off this year? Because I'm not on him.
Yeah.
I bet he goes off. Now I'm going to draft
I'll pick him up, and he'll go off. But, I mean, in addition to that, he's easily the best receiving option on that team. He's easily the best red zone option on that team. He's easily the best player on that offense.
Let's be honest. He's not limited to do anything because he's been hurt.
Right.
It's not like he's...
But if you get Jordan Reed in the 11th round, 12th round...
Yeah, he's a gem.
He could be a top 5 guy.
He's a great number 2 for me. He's not my number 1.
Yeah, he'd be a good backup. I know a lot of people don't advocate for that.
If I'm picking number 1... My number 1 tight end, I shouldn't say number 1, but my first tight end, if he's like...
Yeah, your starter.
Yeah, my starter. He's not my starter.
No.
I really don't want him as my starter.
I wouldn't, but
as a number 2?
On a deep league, like a 14-team league.
On a backup, as a backup tight end, I'll take him in a heartbeat. I just don't want to roll him as my number 1. I did last year, and I'm telling you, 12-point week, next week 2.
Yeah.
And I don't need that. I need consistency. 6 to 8, a low end 10. Everybody loves the 20, which is Kelsey, Ertz, and Kittle.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, he's a great bye-week fill-in. But even last year, I streamed tight end a couple times because, why? Reed screwed the pooch.
Yeah, he did. And I got to tell you, this is his last chance for me. And I'm not seeking him out. I'm not looking. He's not a target, I can assure you.
Jordan Reed, please report to the training room.
Yeah. So I had Greg Olsen at number 9. ECR did not have him ranked, which I just don't understand. So last year, injury, so I get that, but we don't project for injury. 27 receptions, 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, which wasn't bad for the amount of games he played. We're looking at 79 vacated targets from Funchess, who's a big red zone target. And to me, he's the only big target on the team. Granted, 2017, 2018, injury-riddled. But the previous seasons, I think it's 3 previous seasons, he averaged...
3 straight 1,000-yard seasons?
He averaged 80 receptions, 161 yards, and 6 touchdowns in those 3 seasons. And I think he'll be their primary red zone threat. I don't understand why they don't have him ranked, honestly. And I get, you're scared of the injuries, and he almost retired. And who knows? He might retire before the season starts. But he's got a chemistry with Cam Newton you can't ignore.
Oh, no, you can't. I mean, he was, honestly, you look at Greg Olsen, it's the same comparison like looking at some of these other tight ends. He had such a strong chemistry, but the experts are ranking him lower because they are, I hate to say it, they're not judging on injury, but they really are.
Yeah.
Because
he's aging.
Yeah, he is aging.
Yep.
Age is playing a factor, but he's almost like a Delaney Walker. He will get you. How many times have you seen Greg Olsen starts off 1 catch, 6 yards in the first quarter? Boom.
Yeah.
Second, third,
and then
fourth
he
quarter,
just gets
he has
peppered.
8 catches for 119 yards and 2 TDs.
I like Olsen, man. I think he's getting a bad rap here, yeah.
And I really think he's just not getting the respect what he deserves. I mean, he's done what a lot of tight ends can't do, and he still, even back then, never got the respect.
Yeah.
He never was...
No,
he
didn't. Nobody ever put him in the Gronk,
the number 1
Kelsey
tight end.
category.
He's never been put in that category.
Or at the time, Graham.
Even though his numbers, why? Because he was in the shadows. I hate to say it, of Gronk.
Yeah.
Gronk was put up monster numbers. How can you even? He was a good tight end. I'm not saying Olsen was not a good tight end.
Yeah.
But when you have Gronk putting up monster numbers on a team that's winning the championship.
But if you're averaging 80, 1106, that's. I'm not turning that down. So if that's his ceiling this year,
what's his floor? 60 for 900.
Well, his floor is 27 for 291 and 4. But
that was like 3 games, I think, if it's right.
But so just to pick up the pace here, I had Trey Burton at number 11. I think people are sleeping on Burton. 54 receptions, 596 yards, 6 touchdowns. He did kind of sputter down the stretch, and I would dare say almost got somewhat ignored down the stretch. But he was brought in by Nagy. to fit that Kelsey mold in terms of lining up all over the field. He's not Kelsey. He's not the size Kelsey is, not the athlete Kelsey is. But I think with another full off season, we should see some improvement from him. And it's a good offense. I think Burton's getting he's pretty good with yards after the catch too. So I don't know why he's not getting the love when guys like Austin Hooper are, but I don't have any problem with Trey Burton. Any quick thoughts on Trey?
I mean, Burton, he was supposed to be a sleeper pick last year. I mean, he kind of disappointed. I'm not saying he wasn't awful though either. He did show glimpses that he can do it, and I just think maybe some of it was a mix of they didn't know how to utilize him right, especially they didn't factor in
the other tight end,
Tariq Cohen.
Cohen definitely.
I don't think Cohen was factored into being that involved. And hate to say it, but when you feed a guy that much and he keeps performing, you're going to keep feeding him. So it kind of ate through Trey Burton a little bit.
Yep.
I know they're trying to get Anthony. You didn't draft Anthony Miller.
Anthony Miller's great too.
To watch him sit on the sideline.
But they can, like him, Miller, Robinson, they can all do well.
It limits his ceiling a little bit. I mean, he's got the talent. Look at Burton with Philly.
Yep.
He's got the talent.
Oh, yeah,
it's just, they're going to, like you said, Nagy is not known for not using his tight ends. He will get them involved. I think the problem was Nagy wasn't ready for the Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
And then you got Anthony Miller.
Yeah.
You started, you know what I'm saying? It was just a whole bunch of different things coming into one. Yeah. That I think it just kind of threw Nagy's like, just give it to Cohen.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but the guy
or was it Trubisky saying, I better just give it to Cohen?
Or should I run with it?
Yeah, right.
40 yards.
So, last one for me, number 12, TJ Hawkinson. There's the old phrase, the devil that you know is sometimes better than the devil that you don't know. Well, in fantasy football, sometimes the devil that you don't know is better than the devil that you know. So that's why I kind of ranked TJ Hawkinson basically for upside. Last year in college, out of Iowa, 49 receptions, 760 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's a really good stat line, especially competing for tight end targets with Noah Fant. And he's competing with Noah Fant. So he's a great blocker. He's going to be all on the field in all situations, specifically goal line. We talked about that. Good pass-catching tight end that also excels at blocking. That's TJ Hawkinson. I think he's and then Golden Tate, that offense wasn't the same without Golden Tate. Once he left, they were not the same.
I did just read, this is speculation, is what beat writers are writing.
Yeah.
They are going to run the ball more. That's where I'm a little scared after just...
Which means he'll be out there.
Yes.
He'll be on the field.
He
all
should
the
be
time.
Blocking more.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what happens sometimes, you get a call play action. Sometimes you read a defense and you have to change the play.
When a team says it's going to run more, obviously look what the pass run percentage was. So if there was,
you got to take them with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
too.
you got to take
We're going to run more until we're down 24-0 in the first quarter because Matt Stafford sucks.
Exactly. How many times do we think Green Bay was going to run? Aaron Rodgers still threw it. So you got to look at. You got to look at what's going on. I mean, if they're down, they're not going to run. If you do, shame on you, Patricia. But
that's the other thing. So that's the downside to TJ Hawkinson is I don't think Patricia knows if he's on foot or horseback. That guy just seems lost out there. Typical of your Bill Belichick disciples. They're great under him, but he never really teaches them how to run a team. And they go elsewhere and they're not great. So
I hear something like that. I just want Kerryon Johnson more.
Patricia's a handicap, but we're talking tight ends. And we're talking Hawkinson. So I think, honestly, Patricia is a handicap, but the new offense is encouraging. So I say if these top 11 guys are gone, I'm just going to say, you know what? Hawkinson's got high upside. I'll just roll with him and see what happens and, pick another guy a little bit further down the line.
He's somebody, my opinion, you can take a gamble on him. He's got the talent. Like you said, the biggest thing in speculation is what is he going to see? Because this offense has never been known for throwing to a tight end.
Right.
Could completely shock us. We don't know.
You had Hawkinson at 12 also.
I agree. I think Hawkinson, I'm not saying it. His pure talent is there in his ability. The question I only have in doubt is what is Detroit? They're always known for not throwing to the tight end. But you remember, it's a whole revamped system now.
Yeah.
Obviously, let's be honest. Kenny Golladay is the future at receiver.
Yep.
He's going to have to take some pressure off.
But Tate's gone and nobody really stepped up.
Marvin Jones proved that
Jones was hurt too, so yeah.
But
he's good.
Even when he was there, he still proved that he's not
But he's not that. Yeah, he's not that slant route type of guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's more. You know what I'm saying?
He's not going to cover the middle of the field, but Hawkinson potentially.
They say can run a slot. He can run down the middle.
He's very, very good.
He's a very mismatch because of his size too. So we don't know what they're going to do. I mean, that's the thing. It changes the elements.
So just we're creeping up on the time here. So you had Kyle Rudolph at 10, which I don't hate that.
I have Rudolph ranked based on the fact that he didn't leave.
Yeah.
Or is not going to leave.
Yeah.
Rudolph is pretty consistent.
Irv Smith just got drafted. Yeah, and that's weird too. That whole scenario was weird. We're going to trade him, and then we might give him a 5-year extension.
But here, I think...
Draft Irv Smith
This
Jr.
is what you're going to see. I think they might give Rudolph an extension, but at the same time, I think they're going to change that offense. And this is my thinking on it. I'm not reading anything. This is pure speculation. I think they're going to run a double tight end set. Why?
You can't do it every play, but I can see that happening.
Not every play, but they're going to do it more. Why would you run a double tight end set? You mismatch teams, first of all. Yeah. Second of all, you can run out of a double tight end set more.
And then,
that actually helps Dalvin Cook.
And then Diggs will be open and take the bomb
Diggs
down.
will, Dalvin Cook.
So that still won't help Rudolph.
Yeah.
But Cook's
Rudolph
going to catch a lot of passes.
As much as we want to bash him, he actually did pretty decent.
He's fantasy poison because you know what? I put him in the same category as Austin Hooper. And I wouldn't have prior to this past year because he was fairly consistent prior to Diggs and Thielen breaking out, but you just don't know when it's going to happen. It's a surprise. It's a surprise party when he has a big game.
There's not consistency what you want.
Yeah. So my favorite, and I just kind of want to save this for last. The Patriots are like the new Cowboys. They've got a bunch of jailbirds there. Guys are breaking rules left and right. You got Josh Gordon. You got Aaron Hernandez. You got Albert Hainsworth. I mean, the list goes on and on. Dante Stallworth. So they picked up another drunk in Austin Safarian Jenkins. And for some reason, John has him ranked 11th. Explain yourself.
No, not necessarily. I had him slashed with Matt Lacoste. And
who I think might have been cut, but I could be wrong on that.
And I will say this. Also,
in Ben Watson, another criminal and rule breaker, actually is
back.
Yeah, the New England Penitentiary is what they should be called.
The Patriots will utilize their tight ends, and I'm not seeing which one. It's kind of like predicting who is their best running back, or which one to use.
They should change their uniforms to just like the black and white striped, or the orange is the new black. So they should do like the orange is the new black jail outfits. Like that should be their new uniform because they can't stop getting in trouble on that team.
Hey, them and the Cowboys.
I don't know. I think that's overrated.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess they're pretty dumb too. But anyway, Austin Safarian Jenkins, I get your point. But again, what did we talk about when we talked about the draft? Everybody expects the next backup quarterback to be the next Tom Brady and the next heir apparent. Who's the dude that they drafted this year? Jared Stidham. Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be the next Tom Brady. Well, every time they get a tight end and Gronk gets hurt, everybody thinks they're going to be the next man up.
We also don't know.
And it doesn't happen.
We don't know that, okay, let's say, I'm throwing speculation. I'm not even saying it's ASG. I'm just saying it's
you're saying New England's tight end, basically.
New England's tight end. Because here's the thing. We don't know, with Ben Watson now, suspended until Game 5, he's eligible to come back.
Yeah.
We don't know if it could be first week of this, last game of the preseason, week 4, they could sign Rob Gronkowski again. I know he's retired.
They could, yeah.
They could. He could play for 4 weeks, retire again, and they get Watson back.
Yep.
We don't know, but here's the thing. The Patriots did prove this year they don't need that solidified tight end to score touchdowns, but let's not forget, Brady is 42 years old. Yep. He's going to make shorter throws. Yep. And who best to make it to for shorter throws? Who is the security blanket? The tight end. It's a matter of figuring which tight end will be better.
I disagree. Who is the security blanket?
They're Edelman.
James White, Julian Edelman. And those Gronkowski targets, I got 4 syllables for you. N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry is going to be the guy to benefit most from that. Out.
What Gronkowski targets? He barely... did I call it last year on Gronkowski? I said that he
But they didn't have a N'Keal Harry last year.
I'm a Pats fan and I called that. Anybody... tons of people laugh at me.
So where did those targets go? Did they go to the tight end?
They went to White. They went
exactly,
Edelman.
And that's my point. I just don't think. I think Gronkowski got targeted because he's Rob Gronkowski. So we think that they're a tight end driven offense, Well, any team with Rob Gronkowski is going to be a tight end driven
The only
offense.
thing, you know how I feel about Harry. And here's the thing about Harry. I know right now he's rocking it in OTAs.
He is,
very
yeah.
well. Yep.
I don't need. Trust me, I don't like.
He's lining up everywhere.
I don't like saying good things about him because that just means he's going to fly up people's boards.
You know how I've always been about rookies. I have pure speculation about them because there's always that huge jump from college to pros. Can they plant that speed? Can they pick up the route running tree? Can they pick up the playbook? So for me, I've always been hesitant on rookies. I'm not saying they're not going to blow up. I'm not saying he could be 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. He could prove me wrong. I absolutely agree that he could do that. But my speculation with the whole thing is, I called Gronk's regression last year. I know it's called crazy, but I saw it coming. He moves like the Tin Man. He really does. He moves like the damn Tin Man. But my thing is, I think the step...
And they can't oil him up.
And like I'm saying, I could be wrong, and I'm making that known now. Harry could... Here's where I think. Let's say Harry lacks a little bit in the playbook or possibly the route running tree. It's going to open up targets somewhere. Even if it's James White, there's still a ton of targets to go around.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be one of the Patriots tight end. It's not going to be who... It's not going to be ASJ. The way I worded it, I should have Pat's tight end.
I get your point, but I just disagree with the fact that it's going to be a tight end. I don't think they're a tight end driven offense. I think it was convenient to have arguably the best tight end ever.
I still think before Mr. Gangbanger Aaron Hernandez, I still think Hernandez would have been a better tight end than Gronk, deep down.
Well, we'll never know that.
Nope.
But Gronk was pretty darn good.
No, Gronk was good, but if you remember right, when they were playing at the same time, Hernandez was actually outperforming Gronk.
Yeah.
But... Oh, well, it doesn't matter. He's done.
It doesn't matter because
he
went off. And he went off to the New England Penitentiary. So sorry, it's harsh, but that's fine. You guys have 18,000 Super Bowls. You'll get over it. So I guess that about wraps it up for this particular. I was gonna say this week's episode, but we're ramping it up here.
Is it already over? Because man, I want to do more. But
well,
I guess we're going to say what we're going to say.
So it's the Working Class Podcast, and we are working guys, and we got to work in the morning. So it is getting late. So we're going to and we went a little longer than we had hoped to, but
yeah,
again,
we on tight end.
We want it to be organic. So if you get to digest this podcast on a couple of rides to work or a few rides to work, so be it. We just hope you enjoy it, and hopefully you appreciate our insight on tight ends, and hopefully it helps you at your draft select the right one. That's where you jump in.
So, like we said, it's our opinions on these guys. You guys go with your research. Do not use a magazine once again.
Can you do the Roger impression?
You're going to use my magazine in my draft board. But deep down, sometimes...
I hope everybody finds that funny, because I do. I find that voice funny. Hope they don't all find it annoying.
The one thing that some people don't do, and if you got a feeling about a guy with the gut instinct, they call it, DJ's had him, I've had him, go with it. Yeah. You might get burned by it, or...
If you think TJ Hawkinson's going to be the best tight end this year, draft him in the 5th round. And you know what? Some people say, oh, that's bad advice. How can you give people advice like that? If you want a guy, go get him.
It's not considered a reach. If you really want him that bad...
If you think they're going to be that good, how is it a reach? You're not going to pick just because... I mean, we give you advice, but if you think in your heart of hearts that, like last year, I picked Zeke number 2 overall. If I had number 1, I would have taken him number 1 overall. I think his ECR was like 5 or 6 or 7 in some cases. And the guy crushed it because I looked at the numbers, I crunched them, and I went with my gut, and it worked out. So
yeah, and you know what? Sometimes your gut's going to be wrong. That's a gamble you take. It's part of the fantasy game. It's the thrill of it, too, actually. Yeah. Because when you're right, you look like God because you just made the best call. And sometimes
maybe not God, but maybe a fantasy football God.
Fantasy football God. But you're riding that wave. You're like, yeah, all you suckers did not get him. I got him for nothing. I spent $1 on Fab.
Woo!
Woo!
So and you crush your beer on your head.
But you're laughing. You're honestly laughing at the end of the week. It's making those. It's not even so much if you're doing them in a draft or you get them in free agency. It's going those gut picks. Yep. Maybe you're getting a piece of research or a stat that nobody sees. Maybe you followed him in college, and you know that when he lines up against the outside linebacker, he's like caught every pass. Maybe some stat nobody else knows. use that to your advantage. Take the gut instinct, go with it.
Yeah, you guys do use these rankings as a guide, but definitely hit the books and do your own research and make your own rankings. You know, there's websites out there that let you do custom rankings.
Or make your own depth charts too. I mean, here's the thing you got to consider.
Make your own tiers.
We're very early in the season. There's going to be injuries. There always is.
Yep.
Never know who's going to step away, come in. So just keep your mind open, but make a top 5 for yourself.
All right, we got to cut it. As much as we'd love to keep talking to you guys, obviously we just love doing this, but we're running a lot longer today than we had hoped. So once again, thank you for listening to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast. We are John and DJ. We are the Armchair Experts, and email us again. Armchair.
Follow us on Facebook.
What's that?
Follow us on Facebook.
I'm going to give him the info
Okay.
again. armchairfb@gmail.com, at John2977 on Twitter. My bad. Myself at Armchair Kingpin on Twitter. You can catch us on Facebook. Look us up on Spotify, iTunes. I mean, if you're listening, you already have a platform. YouTube. Videos coming. We promise you. We're pretty, but we're not that pretty, so don't get too excited. But we can't wait for that as well. So thanks again, guys, for listening, and we'll let our girl take you out.
Thank you. Spread the love. Spread the word. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast. Thanks for supporting the show. Until next time.